Wilson pulls the trigger.
Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my co-pilot. I have 𝐉𝐞𝐭𝐬 from Jets X Factor. Robbie, how you doing tonight?
Ryan, how's everything? And did you hop out of your seat yesterday at all?
Oh, I jumped off my couch multiple times. I didn't know what to expect. It was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, who is this Mike White guy? It sounds made up, actually, like Matt Black. It sounds that fictional, to be honest.
Right? Yeah, it doesn't feel real. It feels like there's. It was nice to sit back and just watch all these positive things. And I have my buddies text me like, "Oh, what's going on? It probably doesn't look good for your number 2 overall pick." And I'm just like, "Shut up! I'm trying to enjoy my day. I don't want to think about the potential negatives or whatever is going on."
Hey, it's more adversity for Zach, but listen, it's a positive from an overall standpoint. If you ever see a program turn around, you're going to have unexpected surprises like this, and unexpected guys pop up, and that's what you want over, a period of 3 or 4 years. That's what Joe Douglas and the regime wants in the long run, if you do the process in a stubborn, correct way. So, hey, we'll see. It's just one game. He's got to do a lot more. One thing that's right off the bat is he never really attacked downfield, but the Bengals didn't allow him to. And the big thing is he took what they gave him. And the other big thing is his teammates seem to really love him. And then they keep repeating that too. He took what they gave him. He took what they gave him. And in this NFL, that's huge. So, hey, it's a positive overall. If he duplicates it Thursday, then it's going to be really fun.
So let's jump into, I have a few clips queued up here. So let me throw this on screen. This is what Ty Johnson said about Michael White for you guys that did not see this. So what do you think about Ty Johnson's comments? You think this guy's really buying in? He's all in on Mike White?
You know what? I couldn't hear it for some reason. Which quote was that? Because I'll remember if you just tell me.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me do this again. They said no sound, and I'm a bad host.
The community too?
Yeah, I had to click the little button, and I didn't click the little button. Oh, I can only do. Oh, right. Hold on, I got it right over here. I have to pull up the comment. I thought it would pull through. It doesn't want to show the audio, though. All right. It's the Ty Johnson quote talking about him being a savage. So let me see if this will now pull over.
He said it's Mike effing White. All right. He said no cursing, but yeah, it's Mike effing White. All right. Like, let's put it to bed. It's Mike effing White. He's a savage. He's a dog. He's an animal. I said it on Monday. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna keep saying it. He's a dog. He's an animal. Let's keep it like that. It's Mike effing White. All right. He said no.
So what are your thoughts on Ty Johnson's comments about Mike White?
Yeah, I mean, it's his teammates love him. That's evident. He's been with the team for quite some time now. He was an early regime signing once Dallas gave up on him. And he has talent. He just doesn't have talent in the Zach Wilson, Pat Mahomes, new age NFL way, where he's going to do a lot with his legs. He's going to play out of structure. But he has talent, and his teammates love him. So, playing quarterback in today's league, the main thing is what's between the ears. Is he smart? Can he read defenses? Can he lead, be a field general? And Mike White has that. That's something that a lot. The greats have to have, and everything else on top. Everything else beyond that is the cherry on top. So you gotta love it. You gotta love what his teammates are saying. Ty Johnson giving him the middle name of Effin, right? So it's Mike Effin White. Zach Wilson, and fans are going to go right to this. Hey, why do the teammates not like Zach Wilson as much as Mike White? Don't think of it like that. Zach Wilson's a rookie. He's young. He just came in. Mike White's been there for some time. Separate Zach Wilson. Take it as a positive. His teammates really love him.
So you think there's a lot more fire because you watch like everyone getting excited after the game. You're seeing all the pictures, and they're like, it just felt like there was a big energy around Mike White the entire like game, where you didn't get that with Zach Wilson. Like you had the low hit on the sideline, you had the late hit by Judon, and no one is stepping up for Wilson. So like, am I reading too much into this, or are you kind of seeing the same thing?
It's also a flow thing too, a momentum thing within the game. If you're not feeling good about what's happening in the game, that stuff won't be as apparent. So maybe reading in too much into it a little bit. There's definitely something there, but again, we can't judge Wilson yet based on this stage of the game. He's a rookie. He's that young. He was named captain, although sometimes that doesn't mean much depending on how the procedure unfolds. So I'd give it some more time before we start comparing the two.
So I saw this comment by Rich. He says, I'm coining the phrase flower box, referring to Mike LaFleur up in the box for the first time this season, calling plays. He said he's more comfortable up there. How much of an impact do you think LaFleur being up in the box had on yesterday's game?
If I had to attribute percentages between Mike White and LaFleur, I'd go maybe 75-25 in favor of White, 90-10 in favor of White. I mean, listen, LaFleur was better yesterday. There's no question, especially that first drive. All year, he's been guessing wrong in that first drive. The first 15 plays are scripted. You got to guess right. You got to know or anticipate what the defense is going to do. Are they going to play aggressive? Are they going to play soft? Are they going to lag in coverage? They weren't too aggressive, yet LaFleur guessed correctly in that they bit on play action. They bit on some misdirection stuff where what was the first 6 passes, I believe, 5 or 6 plays. So
a lot of
he had that
carefully that like line of scrimmage inside 5 yards seemed to really get Mike White into a flow.
Yes, and he had that carefree attitude where I know rushing the ball is the nucleus of this offense, the Shanahan offense, but forget it. We're not doing it this game. So I think that was a huge deal. Absolutely. But at the same time, what Mike White did was take what the defense gave him. He saw the lagged coverage on the back end, kept taking it underneath. It's something Zach Wilson hasn't done since week 1 and hasn't done in August. See, Wilson, he was fine. What we've seen out of Wilson from week 2 on is not the real Wilson. He's not that inaccurate of a quarterback. He's just a different guy. He's gotten into his own head so badly that he's a different quarterback. He wasn't doing this stuff, so while LaFleur hasn't been perfect, Wilson has had plenty of chances to execute what White did yesterday. It just hasn't happened. So I go anywhere from 75% to 90%. It was Mike White. But yes, LaFleur deserves absolutely a tip of the cap.
Yeah, I think when I'm watching White and I'm kind of like anticipating what I want to see, and I'm like, I'm excited for everything that he did. He did everything right, but I think it gives me more hope for when Zach Wilson eventually figures it out because the ceiling is so high with the athleticism. Like I didn't watch White yesterday and think, wow, look at that arm. I thought, wow, he's really smart. He understands the system. He knows exactly what he needs to do to win the game. And that's kind of, I guess, sort of the way I looked at Mac Jones as well. He's very efficient with his passes and knows how to get the ball into his playmakers' hands. One of those playmakers being Michael Carter. 15 rushes, 77 yards, and a touchdown. He also had 9 receptions for 95 yards. Tell me what you thought about our 4th-round pick.
Well, I mean, White, he led the team with 9 catches, like you said. I mean, and White, the other thing with White, real quick, the Berrios touchdown.
With nourishing serum and provitamin B5.
Think of the Berrios touchdown. Mm-hmm. It was the anticipation It was 2 plays after Keelan Cole got called back. Everyone's deflated, greatest catch since OBJ in that stadium. He had to throw that ball. If you watch the tape again, he had to throw that ball with pressure coming in his face, a 5 or 6 man rush. I think it was a 5 with a 6 guy who was green dogging it, where if his man stayed in the block, he'd rush. And he threw the ball just as Berrios went with his outcut. So that anticipation and placing it exactly where it needed to go, that is serious talent. So don't underrate that for sure. But you're right. He's more in the mold of a Mac Jones, guy who has it in between the ears rather than the Wilson talent. Michael Carter, I mean, what can you say? I think he's going to be a stud. He's going to keep improving. He could do everything. He reminds me of Clyde Edwards a lot in a lot of ways. KC's back. And, LaFleur, the other tip of the cap is a lot of screens early. Even if since he wasn't blitzing, he said, forget about it. We'll just go with the screens. We'll even go with trickery. As you see a lot more of these throwback type trick plays in the NFL today because it works with misdirection, with getting the defense off balance, taking advantage of aggressiveness. So Michael Carter, you got to love it. I thought Tevin Coleman being out would be huge. But the biggest thing, too, defensively as well, C.J. Mosley and Jarrett Davis back, because in New England, you can't play defense with a rookie safety from college and Quincy Williams starting at linebacker. Belichick and McDaniels targeted it. It's not rocket science. They just took advantage of it, and you couldn't do anything. So having those guys back was pretty big, too.
Yeah, I look at the way they utilize Michael Carter, and I look at the way that Cincinnati defense is built, and they're really pressure-oriented. I want to say they were top 5 in the league, or maybe it was just their one end that was top 5 in the league in terms of getting sacks.
Hendrickson.
Yeah, so I like that they used the screen passes to kind of neutralize that threat because it didn't feel like Mike White really had that much pressure in his face throughout the entire day. The one play that you were talking about with Keelan Cole and Berrios, I believe I saw a video of AVT. I think it was AVT that was throwing a last-second block to be able to allow White enough time to make that throw to Berrios, and that was really impressive.
And part of the reason none of us feel like Mike White had that much pressure, and it looks like the O-line did a better job, is because he didn't hold the ball. He took the small victories, and they're not even small victories. A 3-yard, a 4-yard, a 5-yard gain, not 3, but 4 or 5-yard gain on 1st and 10 sets up 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6. It's an unbelievably great situation you want to be in. And if you make that quick little dump off, that hot read, you're never going to see the pressure. And that's the stuff Zach Wilson hasn't done since, like I said, August and week 1. And he's just in his own head. And he's not thinking. He's not playing freely, which makes him freeze. And that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, you look at the receivers that got involved early and often. Michael Carter, 9 receptions. Jameson Crowder, 8 receptions. Ty Johnson, 5 receptions. Elijah Moore, 6 receptions. Those are all guys that are working within that first 5 to 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, and they got targeted early and often, and they knew how to get those yak yardage, and I think it was just so massive. From a
Mims, too. How about Mims on the first drive that got called back?
Yeah, there was the holding call. He got real far, and I think he would have gotten as far even without the hold. I know it was right there on the sideline, but it was still a great play nonetheless. What did you think of Mims yesterday?
I think, first of all, first drive, he got called for that moving forward on the motion, and he did it once or twice on the same drive, that first drive where he could have got called. And I was like, oh man, you got to be careful. But he got nabbed there. The drop in the end zone, he did a great job of getting himself open, making himself available to the quarterback because Josh Johnson didn't lead him. He put it behind him, but he just dropped it. I think Mims has talent. I think he could be something. But again, it was never near the biggest issue the Jets had. It was about quarterback. It was about a lot more than just Mims. They have so many guys. I mean, I think it's a good thing they have so many guys at receiver. Berrios was the 4th receiver? No, 5th receiver. If Keelan Cole was number 4, Mims was starting. Berrios was number 5, and he scores a touchdown. So you got a lot of depth there. Mims, one thing that I love about Mims, he's a great blocker, a willing and great blocker. But he's got to capitalize on those opportunities because it's really tough with that competition.
I really like the block that he threw on the Michael Carter touchdown, the first one that we got. You could tell he's really getting his nose in there. He's not afraid to lay a lick. Now, I know I got you for about another 10 minutes or so. Let's talk about some of our studs and duds of yesterday's game. So I guess let's exclude Mike White, because I feel like Mike White is just such like the overwhelming topic. What give us a stud on offense not named Mike White?
Let's go. I mean, I'll bypass Michael Carter as well because that one's
Okay.
pretty obvious. But AVT, this guy, you just knew that he was going to be their best offensive lineman by midseason. I think I wrote after 4 or 5 games. Maybe I was a little early on that, but it's close. He's a stud in every way, and on that first Michael Carter touchdown, he didn't lay a huge block, but his athleticism pulling out on that, I guess we'll call it a sweep. I have to watch it again, but pulling out on that sweep just to seal off the blocker was just incredible from an offensive lineman, that athleticism. So AVT is an unbelievable pick by Douglas, move by Douglas. He's going to be worth every penny moving forward.
I really like, for my stud on offense, not named Michael Carter or Mike White. I have 2, but I'm gonna go. I'll say Elijah Moore. I'll say Elijah Moore. I was big on what we got from Elijah Moore, and also a little bit of Denzel Mims. The hustle play on the interception for both those guys to run 60 yards down the field and stop him from scoring a touchdown, and then the defense comes out and does their job, holds them 4 downs on the goal line, taking points off the board potentially for Cincinnati. I really liked what we got out of Elijah Moore, and I think there were other opportunities for him as well that you saw shine through. And I think maybe with some more accurate deep passing, we might be able to take full advantage of it. What did you think of Elijah Moore?
Yeah, I loved what I saw from Elijah Moore. I loved that LaFleur got the ball in his hands. The only thing I didn't love was that he ran out of bounds on that final drive when they're in the not really a 4-minute offense, but just 1 first down will ice the game. And then it eventually became they'd have to get 2 first downs once they went out of bounds, and I think it was an incompletion on the second play. There were a couple times where he and Jeff Smith too had a chance to, instead of bouncing it outside the block, read the hat, cut it inside that block, and pick up 3 or 4 more yards. But instead, they bounced it out and didn't gain much. So other than that, I loved Elijah Moore. He did exactly what I want, and I hope it continues to build moving forward. I still think he's going to be a special player.
As far as a stud on the defensive side of the ball, Bryce Hall continues another good game from him. The popular stat being thrown around is Ja'Marr Chase, 3 receptions, 32 yards, and a touchdown. He did have the drop touchdown as well. But overall, I thought Bryce Hall did a really nice job yesterday. What did you think about our young cornerback?
Sal is stubborn, and he's not the only one, but Sal and Ulbrich don't let the corners follow. So it's not like a Revis situation where, okay, you got Ja'Marr Chase, you're going to follow him everywhere. Hall plays left, Eccles plays right. If I was Taylor and Cincy, I would have put Chase on the right side more. The offense is left to go against Eccles more. They didn't do that. But I credit both of them. They did a hell of a job stopping Chase, and even Michael Carter in the slot too. I think I like him a lot. I mean, I like Hall the most because he's just more – it's his second year, but Carter's not too far behind. Just a tremendous job overall. And then May too. Don't underestimate May back there. Ashton Davis, he's still – some of these guys, they just still don't have the instincts, the awareness. Maybe that comes, maybe that doesn't, but Marcus May made up for a lot back there as well.
Yeah, I liked what we got from the secondary. Up front on the defensive line, I really liked seeing a 𝐗-𝐅𝐸 sack in there. I wasn't really I didn't even know he was on the active roster right now.
Yeah,
and then he
showed some speed on that too. You could see why he was I forget what round he was now. 3rd round, was it?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you could see why he got picked in the 3rd round with his athleticism. I mean, he definitely has athleticism. Just stay healthy and keep grinding.
Now, as far as your duds of the game, Give me a dud. It could be offense or defense. Give me one player or maybe coach or position or something like that you would have liked to have seen done a little bit better.
I think Ashton Davis.
Mm-hmm.
He's willing. He always sticks his nose in there, but again, his instincts. I forgot who it was. The Higgins big play, was it in the third quarter or fourth quarter in the second half, where he did an over route or post route, and May was chasing. We're gonna have to break it down tomorrow when the film comes out. But Davis stuck his nose in the primary read, and it was just too much time for the quarterback to do that, and the over route got behind him. So Davis wasn't great, but again, there weren't a lot of candidates. Who do you got?
I think one that I heard a lot of people kind of chirp about in my post-game stream was the frustration with John Franklin Myers and with the seemingly lack of wow plays since he signed his extension. I've seen people kind of upset with, I guess the lack of impact plays since making that signing. Have you seen anything the last few games as to why the Jets pass rush seems to have been just so after a 7-sack performance against the Titans?
Not really. They're just not winning one-on-one battles, and then Quinnen's getting doubled a lot. The one thing I'll say about JFM, yes, he has disappeared, but in the beginning they weren't really missing Lawson and Curry too much. Now they are, because you don't want to put JFM on the edge every play. You want to have him inside, outside, move around a lot. But out of necessity, they have to put him on the edge. That's not his best spot, I would say. So he's kind of playing out of position, and he was really over-delivering in the first few games of the season. So I'm with you. He's got to step it up.
All right. So I think we're getting to that point where you have to say goodbye.
Gotta hop off quickly. Yep.
Let the guys know where they could find you and what you got going on over at Jets X Factor.
Yeah, just check out jetsxfactor.com. We're going to have a lot of film tomorrow, especially when the film comes out on Tuesday. A lot on Mike White. We'll dissect it and see, what you could expect for Indy Thursday. And it's a good thing they have a Thursday game this week, too, because it kind of slows down the narrative of quarterback controversy, I think. I think if you ever wanted a Thursday game, this would be it. Who told me that? Someone mentioned that yesterday at the game. Costello from the Post. And it was a really good point. So we'll see. Come to jetsxfactor.com and check out Nania, Blewett, Vitor, the former quarterback, with all the breakdowns.
Awesome. Robbie, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And I will talk to you. I'll shoot you a text and get all your thoughts Thursday night.
All right. See you guys later.
Take it easy, Robbie. All right. So that was Robbie 𝐗-𝐷 from Jets X Factor. Guys, I'm going to drop the link to the stream in the live chat, and I'm going to pin it. So if you guys want to jump in to the video stream, rather than doing call-ins, I think this is kind of fun to have a little back and forth here. And I'll be doing this till 9 o'clock tonight. I'm actually jumping on a Colts podcast at 9. So not going to do the full 2-hour stream that we normally do. But if you would like to hop on, the link is pinned in the chat. Let's see what else we got going on. I guess I should probably put that on the ticker. Wham. Join the stream. Link pinned in the chat. Let's see. What are you guys talking about over in the chat? Mahomes just threw a pick. I should probably have that game on. Where's my remote? I'll throw that on so I can get a little football action going. Should be watching that. Ooh, Mahomes with another pick. Does that mean he has more than one tonight? Or are you just saying he's having a rough go of it at the start of this season? I do not know. Aha, that's why. Last few games. Ali, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Happy Jets victory Monday. Good to have you in here. FM very aggressively saying bye-bye bust to Zach Wilson. Montana has arrived in New York City in white. That is a very bold statement, FM. Looks like we got Thomas joining the stream. Thomas, you going to have your camera on or camera off? See it off right now. And 3, 2, 1. Thomas, how you doing?
What's up? How are you?
Good. What'd you think of yesterday's win?
Well, watching how he came out in that first quarter was like obviously just beautiful to see. But I was honestly very confused on why LaFleur obviously was up in the box. That looked great. Play calling looked much better, but I don't know why it took Wilson getting injured for us to start like throwing the ball early and to start. It's just like I feel like we could have been doing this and just it's like bittersweet almost.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm watching everything that was done, and I don't know if Zach just didn't like hit the easy reads that were there before. It just doesn't make sense because it feels like this game was called to I don't want to say dumb down, but really make it easier on Mike White. Like, why not try to do that with Zach Wilson? Like, I want to see some RPOs. I want to see some of these short slants, these screens.
I was talking to my friend, and he was saying that, first of all, like, he was hearing that, like, Zach was, like, uncomfortable, and also he wanted the floor on the sideline or something. I was like, I mean, I guess you would want him there, but if it's not working, it's not working. Like, you got to try something else, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping that LaFleur stays in the box even when Wilson eventually comes back. Because as much as I love everything that Mike White did, I'm cautiously optimistic. I just want to see how he executes it. Mike White kind of gives me the Jimmy Garoppolo kind of vibe. It doesn't feel like you could win a big time game if you had to rely solely on him to make a play, but it feels like he will get the ball into his playmakers' hands, and he will be able to put you in a position to win games and take advantage of some potential good luck, like a ball bouncing the right way or something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if we had Wilson, like that deep ball threat, like against the Titans, where he's telling guys to go deep and just chucking it downfield, like however many yards, like if we can have that end the short passing game, like it's just like to see what we can do against a team like the Bengals, who is accredited and like we're a good way through the season. We can like certainly say that they're a very solid team, well-rounded. For us to be able to put on a performance like that, it just like I feel like we could be doing more. It's just.
Well, it's exciting, right? Like, because if Mike White can do it, I have faith that the number 2 overall pick will be able to do it at some point. And when he figures it all out, like it makes me feel like at least the coaching staff is correct, and we're just going through some rookie growing pains. I don't have to be as worried, across the board. And I think it makes me feel more comfortable that it feels like we have some good weapons too. Like the wide receivers played well, the running backs played well. You get the ball in their hands, and they can create those 7, 8, 10-yard plays. It was nice to see. I loved what we got out of Michael Carter, both Michael Carters, but specifically the running back.
Yes.
Now, what would you say your favorite part of the game was? Like, if you had to pick one play, was there something that stood out to you that you thought, wow, this is special, or this is, I don't know, awesome? Give me something. What were you feeling? What made you jump out of your seat?
Well, that 𝐗-𝐿 snag that got called back, and then to go right back from that and to have that Braxton Berrios toe tap right after, like that was just like,
it was a thing of beauty. I thought I really wanted that 𝐗-𝐿 catch to remain a catch because that to me was just like friggin' Spider-Man. Like, man,
snagged it out. Like,
I don't even know if it hit his hand. It just went like he did the Spider-Man thing, pulled it in.
The announcer's reaction was really funny when he was like, "The grab by Cole."
Oh man! And then Berrios, that toe tap was just so
Beautiful,
nice.
beautiful.
And Robbie was talking about it. The throw, the anticipation, right as Berrios was breaking, he was getting pressure in his face. Like that was just that was the thing.
He didn't have 2 spare inches on that toe tap. It was just
it was special. And then what we're getting from the defense, Bryce Hall, friggin' Michael Carter.
Echoes had some good
back.
breakups. Echoes had a really nice breakup against T. Higgins that I was like.
Yeah, this secondary has been surprisingly good, and I don't know if it's the secondary pieces or if it's maybe the change in philosophy with the front four. Like it just feels like we have a secondary where going into the season, if you had told me there was going to be one really weak position, like tight end would be one on the offense, but secondary was going to be where I thought we'd lose a lot of games this year.
Definitely. I feel like tight ends looked kind of solid too. We saw some good production out of there. The Tyler Kroft touchdown, a bunch of short passes. I liked seeing a lot of just letting Carter run, letting Johnson go, letting Mims go, letting Moore go. Like if we're not able to make the plays happen ourselves, just give the ball to some of these guys that can run and just let them run it. Just let them go.
Oh, how nice was the tightrope walk by Ty Johnson? I'm watching it. I was like, wow. I was like, man, it looked like he was probably pretty close to scoring a touchdown. And then they show the replay. I'm like, oh man, he's absolutely in. This is
wow.
This is one of the best runs I've seen a Jet make.
I just watched the highlights again right before. I have the Chiefs Giants on right now, but right before I was watching the highlights just to make myself happy.
Oh, you have to. That's basically all I've been doing today. I've been rewatching. I did the every throw for Mike White, and then I was rewatching the game, and I'm watching Good Morning Football. I'm like, oh, you know what? It feels good to have a positive spin on the Jets on a Monday morning for the first time since the Titans game, and now the Jets have 2 wins against some really, really good AFC opponents.
And we were in the stealth black jerseys too. That was just.
I loved it. Well, see, that's just it. It's like Halloween, right? Like I was like, okay, I want to see black. I would have loved to have seen orange, but I guess orange is more of a home color for the Bengals. But I thoroughly enjoyed everything we got.
And did you see the little Halloween pre-video they made?
I saw the one you're talking about, the one with the kids, and they open up the door and it's like trick or treat, and it's like Patrick Mahomes as a kid. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know if I saw that. There was I think it was on Instagram on the Jets account, a teaser video, and it was black and there was lightning and it was scary and it was the players' numbers and stuff. It was
oh, that's badass. I gotta look at that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was cool. It was black and it was flashing, and then there were numbers and it was making scary sounds and stuff.
I would say this: the Jets media department is one of the best in all of football. They have such a good not just marketing team, but the way they edit their videos, the documentary series they do, second to none.
I mean, we also just have a dedicated fan base. I'm 19 personally, so I grew up in the whole Sanchez, Santonio Holmes, Braylon Edwards, Darrelle Revis, miss him obviously, and I feel the best I ever got was that playoffs win against the Patriots, and then the Steelers ruining our day after. Our season.
So I'm 31. I'll be 32 on Thursday, actually, for the Colts game. So hopefully we get a victory for
happy early birthday. That's cool. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, no, but when I'm looking at the wins we've had over the course of the last 20 years that I've been watching, that Patriot game was the closest thing that I've felt to a Super Bowl victory, bar none. Especially the way they beat us down towards the end of that season, and to come in and just kick them in the teeth. Something special.
Bart Scott can't wait. I mean, I'll remember that for the rest of my life, obviously.
Oh yeah, no, I want to be able to enjoy more of those moments, because I feel you watch the playoffs each year, and there's every team has I just want to get some wins. I want to get some victories here. Thomas, let me go. I'm going to get to another caller.
Of course.
Thank you so much for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you so much for talking to me and stuff. I had a great time. Love your videos, all your content. Keep it up.
Thanks, brother. All right, we're going to jump to Scott. Scott, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Yeah. What's up, Scott? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's going on, Ryan? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How'd you feel about the victory yesterday?
Oh, it's amazing, dude. I'll take every Jets win I could get. They're few and far between lately, so when you get them, you gotta enjoy them,
Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
me, I'm in California, so it starts my day off, 10 a.m. games, and I'm like, if they lose, I don't want to watch football the rest of the day. It destroys everything.
Oh, I could understand that. I mean, I watched the friggin' London game, so that's a 9 a.m. or 9:30 kickoff here on the East Coast. I'm like, really? Now I gotta like be irritated the rest of the day. So I can sympathize there. I see that you got some daylight behind you.
Yeah, we still just a little bit, just for a little bit longer, but it was a great win, man. It was a team effort. Everybody showed up to play. You gotta love it.
Now, who would you say? Would you say Mike White was your favorite performance, or was there another player, offense or defense, that you really enjoyed watching?
Offensively, I mean, Michael Carter to me was the most impressive guy.
Hmm.
Uh, I looked at the Mike White game, and I think he played really good. He was decisive. He got the ball out quick. But I mean, it was like a 4.1, yard per target or whatever. Michael Carter was just impossible to tackle though yesterday. I think he made like 15 Bengals like missed tackles. So he was explosive in the pass game and the run game. He was making things happen left and right. So to me, he was the most impressive. And AVT. AVT opens up holes on the second level. Like, man, I can't wait till 𝐗-𝐽 gets back, because going to that left side and you just have two behemoths opening up lanes everywhere, it's going to be exciting, man.
Our offensive linemen in the run game have been really impressive. Like watching, I mean, even Fant and Moses, but AVT in particular, because he's a rookie and because we know we have him locked in for the next 5 years. And I mean, ideally, 10 year starters that we're getting out of this. And you watch the Seattle Seahawks and they're losing games. I mean, granted, yesterday they wound up winning. They played the Jaguars. Not impressive, Geno Smith. Not impressive, Seattle Seahawks. But I'm very happy with that trade.
Yeah, you have to be, man. Especially when Jamal. I don't even think he has a sack yet, right? So the one thing he could do as a safety, he's not even doing that. They're trying to play him in a new role. It's not working, but that's their problem, right? We're building something here. JD's got us going in the right direction, and I think we're gonna be good. I'm excited for Thursday night, see what happens, but for the rest of the season in general, I'm really confident. I actually think Zach's gonna come back really strong. I think watching how he started out in New England, right? He was more decisive, getting the ball out in rhythm. And then you watch kind of how Mike White does it, right? Where if he has nothing down the field, it's a check down, right? And I think watching that and just getting the time away, he's going to come back good. I'm pretty excited for what this team's going to look like by the end of the year.
Yeah, you think about how Zach looked just prior to the injury, and he didn't have that many throws before it happened because you wind up being down 14 points. He got hit on that bad offensive line communication on the first series there to close out the 3-and-out. And then he gets hurt before we get to score a touchdown. And I was like, oh, man, it really felt like we were going somewhere with this. So when I watched Mike White do everything that he did this past week, and I think about Zach Wilson, and I'm just like, man, if we can get his athleticism and we can get the arm strength to get the ball down the field and he can do the things that Mike White did, like I felt like the only thing that's missing with Zach is the stuff between the ears. Like, know to check it down. Don't overthink things. That's what LaFleur and Sal have talked about when they say, hey, just make the boring throws. Like that was, I don't want to say Mike White was boring, but I mean, a lot of his throws were kind of pedestrian and you didn't have to worry about him pushing the ball down the field too much. And he let his playmakers make all the plays.
Yeah, with Zach, it's footwork and being decisive. A lot of his interceptions, like it's just he had the right read, but he did it late. It's like he's hesitating to pull the trigger almost. So hopefully he could turn it around. But I think this the defense, man, how surprising are these corners? Like Bryce Hall looks great. Even Eccles is making plays. I know he got burnt by 𝐗-𝐅𝐚𝐜 in that little broken play, but for the most part, he's playing really well. Like this secondary is kind of surprising.
Yeah, I'm shocked with how well it's played. And now my first mock draft of the season, we had the 6th pick, and I wound up taking Stingley Jr. And I was like, you know what? After watching these guys play, I don't want to invest that high of a pick into that position. I would rather, get the pass rusher. I've wanted Thibodeau for the longest time. I think we're going to wind up playing just well enough to be out of striking distance for him. Like, I think we have some games on our schedule that we can win. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because we have a good win against, the Titans and a good win against Cincinnati. Like, how do you feel going into Indianapolis? Do you think Mike White is going to be able to duplicate that type of performance and I should be excited for that, or do you think this was a kind of a flash in the pan kind of moment? You are frozen, my friend. So thank you, Scott. I don't know if you can hear me or if you're moving on anyone else's screen, but you're frozen over here. Oh, you moved around. Now you're frozen again. All right, Scott. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will talk to you later. All right, that was Scott. I apologize, Scott. I don't know what happened. I got Adam coming on next. Adam, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. All right, Adam, what's good, brother? How'd you feel about yesterday's win?
Yo, let's go.
Right?
Yeah. No, that was a fun game to watch. Yeah, pretty much like every Jets fan, it was just like, all right, I'm gonna watch. Pretty much my game plan was one monitor was have the Jets game on, the other was just play video games the entire time. And then after a while, I was just like, all right, I want to go sit on my actual couch and watch this actual game right now. Like,
yeah, I wasn't anticipating that good of a game. I was like, oh, you know what? I was like, I'm not going to this game. I'm not wasting my time on it. I'll wind up flipping back and forth between games.
right.
And even when the Jets were down, I was just impressed with the way they were moving the ball. I would have been fine with a loss, to be perfectly honest. Just the way to see the offense move the ball, I was like, wow, this is actually like really impressive to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Things I take away from this, we'll start with the funny. They needed to wear their black jerseys all the time. Like the green and white kind of dynamic, just go all black.
Yep.
It will probably serve us better. It will be a better look. The players probably be like, oh, I feel intimidated, all the kooky stuff that a player can go into and stuff. We've all been there and stuff. So I honestly think Mike LaFleur being in the booth played like a huge part. Yes, Mike White played out of his mind and stuff like that. But like you can tell that he was like, oh, okay, and stuff. And then it was interesting in Salah's like press conference. He was like, oh, we're gonna defer if we want to defer. And the last second he's like, you know what? We're just gonna take the ball and go with it. And it's like, go with your instinct, man. And it worked out. So
I loved it. After the way we came out against the Patriots and they were 14-0 right off the bat, I think having that kind of turnaround and saying like, okay, let's put it in our offense's hands. Let's not put ourselves behind the 8 ball from the start.
mm-hmm.
Let's do something right down the field. And it was refreshing to see the running game got into it. I always said this with the Patriots. They, when they had Brady, they would run the ball well, but they would pass to set up the run, or they would throw short passes that were almost like a run.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to hand the ball off to I guess run the ball, if that makes sense.
That's like basic 101 football on the higher level and stuff. Yeah, that's almost like this is when I started watching. That's a Chad Pennington throw right there. Being like, I'm just gonna do this, and you're like, all right, well, that's theoretically a run, I guess. So
yeah, absolutely.
2 players I think were awesome in this game were Bryce Hall and then Michael Carter II. I'll give the defense a lot of love. Both Michael Carters were fantastic. It shows that our corners are pretty much going to be here for quite a long time.
Yeah, they're so young too.
Yeah.
Right, like Bryce Hall, he's got 2 more years on his contract after this year. Eccles will have 3 more years, and then you have Michael Carter who will have another 3 years, and that's on cheap deals. I would say our weakness is going to wind up being on the safety position because I don't believe Marcus May will be here beyond this year. Even if we wind up turning it around, I would like to trade him before the deadline, I think. I think it was probably easier to trade him if the Jets were to have lost. I think right now maybe there is a team morale aspect that might have to come into play with holding on to May. And then who knows, maybe you can start to rebuild that relationship, or maybe you franchise tag him again. I think it would be about $12 million if you did that. And then Ashton Davis, I really didn't like what I saw out of Ashton Davis. He continues to underwhelm.
He just might be a backup.
Safety.
Yeah, he just might be like a special teamer and backup, but he's a 3rd round, so like that's not a bad thing in the end. It stinks. You're like, okay, of who he was replacing, and then at the time, like the picks don't like it makes sense. So like, and people might construe it and been like, oh, it's a bad thing. But if you get like, he's a special teamer and stuff like that, like, all right, great. You know,
you need those,
useful
right? Like
bodies.
you need depth. And honestly, I would love to see Ashton play the rest of the season to the point where I feel like maybe we could have him as either long-term depth or as maybe that second safety. Like, I would like us to bring back LaMarcus Joyner next year. I thought he was poised to have a big season. He's only on the 1-year contract with us, and he's moving back to his safety position. I'd like to retain him, but also probably address it maybe in free agency or with a 3rd or 4th round pick. I think having some more competition in that room would really help round out the secondary a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's crazy to think about on these draft picks that are definitely hitting or they're solid players. You know, I did the math like a while back, and it was like next year when Joe Douglas does his draft, there's at least going to be 30 guys that are just draft picks. That like, or like, well, we have probably like down to like 27 because of like some of the cuts and stuff, but that's pretty good for a 53-man roster.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the Jets are going to have about $54 million in cap space before they make any cuts too. So this team is going to look a lot different. If you can have the excitement going into the last few games of the season, like if Wilson can be throwing the ball around like White did yesterday with some more of those wow plays, I think you attract some free agents. I think you get the team fired up. And if you bring in those free agents and you make those high valued draft picks, then I think that sends a message to the team like, hey, look, we're ready to win now. And I'm not like a huge proponent of blowing the doors off free agency, but I think making smart signings. I think Corey Davis was a great signing this year. I think Carl Lawson was a great signing this year. It just unfortunately didn't work out injury-wise. But I think the philosophy is correct in what Joe Douglas is doing.
My other point is Denzel Mims is fine, and you'll be good. Because, like, here's my argument. If people are like, oh, Denzel Mims, yes, he should have caught the touchdown, should have used his hands. Like, okay, that's on him. But, you know, he got 30 yards again, so you can't, like, beat that. The only people that were running backs, and they were just running wild yesterday. So you're like, all right, well, that's what the defense was given. Okay. And anybody was like, with Corey Davis, I love Corey Davis, but he's had his share of drops. So if we're going to knock Mims for knocking a drop, yes, it was in the end zone and stuff. Davis, that it's kind of the replacement. He's had his drops too. So, like, we have to be equal in the kind of being like, okay, this is a fair assessment. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I want to see how this team looks Thursday, especially if you wind up getting Corey Davis back too. Like, how does Corey Davis's dynamic play into the rest of the offense? Because it felt like we kind of tried to force Davis the ball a lot, or at least Wilson was just kind of locking in on him. And I think spreading the ball around to some of the shorter playmakers will open up the bigger plays for Corey Davis and for Mims when Wilson eventually gets back. I'd like to see Mike White throw the ball downfield a little bit more with some accuracy. But I like what I've seen all the way around. Adam, listen, I'm going to get to another caller. I want to thank you so much for jumping on. That was some great questions.
Thanks, man. Have a great night.
You as well. All right, we're going to go to Nick. Nick, give me a thumbs up if you are ready. Yeah. All right. Nick, thank you for...
Hey, can you hear me, by the way?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great, because my computer's been spotty.
How you feeling about the game yesterday?
Dude, this team is Jekyll and Hyde. Like, I just can't understand it. Like, they just love to screw with my emotions. Like, they can't beat the most average teams in the league, but they beat the 2 best teams in the AFC. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand what the problem is. Like,
it makes no sense to me.
It's like,
this team makes
like, it's just crazy. Like, can you just be consistently bad or consistently good and stop making me bipolar all the time? Like, it's just, I don't know. I'd rather be.
Should I be buying jerseys? Should I be fully devoted into these?
Yeah,
games?
I know, because
Should I be upset?
Yeah, dude. So I really think LaFleur in the booth made a big difference. He had a great game. Like, because a lot of what I hear from like guys like Dan Orlovsky and like a lot of former coaches in the league, they're saying that if you're in the booth, you can see the entire field and you can see everything that's developing. And if there's any problems, it's a lot easier to make adjustments. So I think LaFleur being in the booth made a big difference, as opposed to him being on the sideline, and like you can't really see everything that's going on when you're on the side. So I really think that made a big difference in terms of the play calling. And I don't care what Zach Wilson says. LaFleur needs to stay in the booth. He needs to stay in the booth. Be quiet, Zach, and shut your mouth.
Yeah. Man the hell up, Zach. You could talk to yourself. You could talk to Flacco. You could talk to Callahan. Leave LaFleur.
Yeah, you can talk to somebody.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I thought when I'm watching LaFleur up there, so when I had season tickets to the Jets, we were second to last row, section 327, like literally backs against the concrete. And you can watch the entire play develop. And I've had seats that were a lot lower, and it's fun. It's a good time. But I think there's definitely something to be said to be able to see everything on the field because you just can't see everything.
You get a bird's eye view of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was plenty of times this past week where LaFleur had the guys run into the line of scrimmage, and I think he saw the matchups that he may not have been otherwise able to see if he were on the sideline.
Right. Yeah. And like in terms of the running backs too, I really think like hopefully we've seen the last of hunting a 5'8" Michael Carter straight up the middle on first down every single play, because clearly it's easy to see they're better when they're going like catching passes out of the backfield, cutting to the outside, or just catching passes just like normal receiver on the field. These runs straight up the middle hopefully are done with. Well, not totally done with because there's always a time for it, but
sure.
But hopefully we've seen and are going to see more of Michael Carter and Ty Johnson cutting to the outside instead of going straight up the middle, because they're not the biggest running backs. They're not all thumpers, Like, I don't know why Carter was being used the past 6 weeks as like a Marshawn Lynch, Chris Ivory type guy where he's expected to run over every defender. Like, no, have them catch pass out of the backfield. They're quick, fast guys. That's what he did really well at UNC, So I really hope to see more of that in terms of like the play calling for the running backs. I don't know how you feel, but that's how I really want to see that,
I really liked, so not even so much the running game, but the pass to set up the run. So like those screen plays, I thought getting Carter out in space, getting Ty Johnson out in space. You watched our top receivers. It was Carter. It was Ty Johnson. It was Elijah Moore. It was Jamison Crowder. And it's all around the line of scrimmage, and you get the ball into those guys' hands, and all of a sudden they can make guys miss, with a quick step or with, a solid stiff arm running up the sideline. Like that tightrope run with Ty Johnson, incredible.
Oh my God, that was phenomenal. Phenomenal. He broke like 3 tackles and he cut all the way to the outside and he winded. To me, it looked like a touchdown. I mean, I guess he stepped out of bounds.
Oh, it absolutely was. 100% it was.
Oh my God. How is that 𝐗-𝐭𝐬 not a touchdown, by the way?
Oh,
that's
dude,
driving me crazy.
I jumped out of my seat. As soon as he made the catch,
play.
That's a catch to me. Like, I know there was a bobble there, but I think if I'm
that was better than Odell's catch. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, if I'm looking at that in real time, and if I say like, okay, do I think he still had possession? Like, I don't know if he, by letter of the law, the ball moved around, but it's like, okay, that felt like a catch. And
he fell in the end zone. It was clearly a catch. I don't know what. And then Braxton Berrios has a toe drag. To me, the 𝐗-𝐭𝐬 catch looked more like a touchdown than the Berrios catch, but whatever.
I agree. I thought Berrios might have bobbled the ball a little bit there. Nick, listen, I'm going to get some more callers because I got to jump off at 9 o'clock today. So thank you so much for calling in, brother.
All right, peace, brother.
All right, real quick, I want to get to Natra Brown. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, our fan base loves to overreact. LOL, Zach is the guy. He just needs to stop being so damn hard-headed and take what the defense gives him, but he'll be fine. I completely agree. I don't think – well, I shouldn't say I don't think anyone in our fan base is overreacting, because there's plenty of people overreacting and saying Mike White's starting quarterback. We have this big quarterback controversy on our hands, and that's just not the case. I think we take one day at a time. If White continues to show out the way he does, then you just let him play, and you kind of let Zach Wilson learn on the sideline for a year. I think Zach is still the guy long-term. The ceiling's there. The arm strength is there. I don't think there's anything to be concerned about from Zach Wilson. Motivation, you ready? Give me a thumbs up. I'm going to go to you next. Yeah. All right, Mr. Motivation, how you doing, dude?
Ryan, what's good, man?
Dude, I loved it. Tell me what you thought about yesterday's game.
I loved every single moment. It's a good thing I came back home to Jersey this weekend just to witness it.
Oh, dude, it's like this was the first time since the Titan. Well, I shouldn't say the first time since the Titan game, but that's like it shows you where this team could be. And I think there's probably something to be said for, Mike White starting for the first time, so there's not much tape on him. I think there's probably something to be said for Cincinnati coming out maybe a little flat because they played their quote-unquote Super Bowl against the Ravens the week before. I almost put it similar to like how the Jets played against the Patriots in the playoffs back in 2010, and then like the following week felt like not quite as emotionally driven, and it felt like the Jets were just primed for an upset this week.
You know, I was just thinking the same way as you. Just how you said it, I was just thinking that. Honestly, but this game was just so special because like everybody contributed and did their part, and everybody was able to get a touch on that ball.
Dude, it was incredible. But talk to me. What did you think about our weapons? Who was your favorite player from yesterday's game?
It's gonna have to be Michael Carter.
Oh, I love the running back position.
He just did so phenomenal. He did so phenomenal, man. He did absolutely so phenomenal that like I'm even surprised that the offensive line was able to open up a hole for him and get all those yards.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, give me one question, then I got to jump over to Joe real quick. He's our last caller for the night. I got to jump off at 9:00.
What can we expect this Thursday against the Colts?
Man, if I could get 75% of what we got yesterday, like I don't need the Jets to win. I want them to win. Don't get me wrong. But I don't need the Jets to win. If I see Mike White continue to move this offense forward, I'll feel a lot more comfortable in Mike LaFleur. I'll feel like this game wasn't a fluke. And I think it'll give more confidence to this team. If we could wind up pulling out a win, I think you're going to start hearing a lot of chirping about Mike White.
Just to give you a positive note before you go, Ryan, we just got news that 𝐗-𝐅𝐚𝐭𝐬 will not be playing, so that kind of benefits us a little bit.
Definitely helps us, brother. Mr. Motivation, thank you so much for jumping on.
Thanks.
Joe, I'm going to jump over to you, and I got like a minute and a half. So, Joe, I'm throwing you on the screen in 3, 2, 1. Joe, how you doing tonight? Joe, turn your mic on or your camera. Hello. Oh, camera's coming on. Mic's coming on. Yes? No? Oh, no, Joe. Joe ejected himself. Joe, thank you so much for calling in, brother. I'm done to the end of this stream now, so I'm just going to hop off that. But, brother, thank you so much for calling in. All right. Boys and girls, it was a lot of fun. It was cool listening to Robbie hearing his takes. Cool talking to you guys. I'm really excited for this game. Green Bean, I see you in the chat. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow, Tuesday, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock for our Talking Jets panel. My name's Ryan. I've been your pilot. This is Jets Talk, signing off. J-E-T-S.